Fair play to Jeff Bezos. He's not one of the richest guys in the world for nothing, and he's really cracked that addictive buying impulse thing with Amazon. But so the title of today's video, guys, is reasons why I left the UK. So I'm going to go through a few things. Some are a little bit controversial, of course. So reasons why I left the UK. Why did I decide to stay in Vietnam? I just want to preface this video by saying that I do love the UK. It's an amazing country, and the history of the UK, although checkered in parts, still obviously has had a massive contribution to the entire world, especially in the areas of things like science and technology. But I just feel that recently some things have gone a bit wayward. I don't want to get too political, but yeah, in a lot of ways it's perhaps not the country it used to be. So reason number one is a fairly obvious one, that's cost of living. So when I left the UK 6-7 years ago, I was aware of prices, especially housing, accommodation, rental and buying property. These prices were, increasing at a rate that vastly outstripped pay increases. And most governments, most democratic governments, they want to stay in power, so they know most people own property and they don't want property prices to fall, because then it falls out of favour with the government, and they lose votes. So unfortunately the UK has a big lack of house building and just not enough housing for the population at all. So the resultant situation is ridiculous house prices. And of course I know this is true in a lot of other Western countries as well, and it's also true in Vietnam. Property is ridiculously expensive here. If you compare it to the average local salary of say $350 a month, you can't buy an apartment in Ho Chi Minh City in the center for less than about $90,000 US, and that'll be a very, very old unfurnished apartment. So my generation is exceedingly difficult to get on the property ladder in the United Kingdom, and I'd say now it's almost impossible. When I went back there last year for a couple of months during the COVID lockdowns here in Vietnam, I was absolutely shocked at the rental prices. And I was kind of shocked at the greed, really, that I was seeing. Where I used to live maybe 8 years ago, I was paying around $550, I think, US for a one-bed apartment. This apartment now around about $1,200, so it's gone up, it's more than doubled in price. And it's ridiculous, and wages haven't really gone up at all in real terms. If you look at it in relation to inflation, they've probably gone down actually in the last 6 or 7 years. So it's a real struggle. You've also got ridiculous things like council tax, road tax, high insurance rates for vehicles, really, really high fuel duty in the UK. So the actual cost of living before you spend out on food, going out, leisure things, it's ridiculous. And especially now, it's really, really terrible, and it's a real struggle for many, many people. When I watch the news now about the UK, the latest government leader has just been ousted out of his party, and they're jostling to elect a new one, but it's all just a bit of a mess, and no one's really leading the country. And they're just coming out with these kind of distracting news stories like, oh, let's put number plates on bicycles, and let's tax people on bicycles. But there's no real talk about the cost of living. The average fuel cost in the UK now around about $350, $400 US a month for gas and electric. That's due to go up another 80% in October when they raise the fuel cap. And yet, what has the government done? Well, absolutely nothing so far. What will they do? I have no idea. Is it the job of the government to renationalize energy? I'm not a politician, I can't say, but on the outside looking in, it's pretty dire. So recession is forecast in the UK. I think we're already in recession. The US likes to redefine the definition of recession. So I believe they are almost certainly heading into recession as well. Vietnam, however, is on the up. Vietnam is one of the few countries that's doing very well. It's not in recession, although prices are increasing here quite highly, and I'm dubious as to whether that's because people are jumping on the bandwagon of inflation and recessionary fears. But generally, compared to Western countries, it's still very, very affordable here. Reason number 2 is healthcare and access to healthcare. So this one's quite controversial. So in the United Kingdom, we have the NHS, the National Health Service, and this is paid for by the people. So, you know, through your taxes every month, you pay for this service, and it is really, really good. Generally, if you have an emergency situation, so for emergency care and very, very serious illnesses, it's very good. But for routine, day-to-day preventative medicine, in my opinion, it's not very good at all. Very, very difficult to see your doctor. You have to wait 2, sometimes 3 weeks to see your doctor. You only get 5 minutes with your doctor, then you've got to make another appointment. Doctors don't like you to talk about more than one problem at a time. You then have to get referred to a specialist at a hospital. And these referrals can take 4, 5, 6 months, sometimes up to 12 months in some parts of the UK, like Wales, and that's totally unacceptable to me. You know, they will put you on painkillers for 12 months. I've had a lot of issues before with back and neck and injuries. You know, I spoke about this in my first video I did, but you know, it's ridiculous. And you can pay to go private, but you shouldn't have to pay to go private because you're already paying for your taxes, which are high anyway. And that's one thing I really like about Vietnam is, you know, it's a little rough around the edges in regards to healthcare, but I'm in District 1 now. I could go to any one of these hospitals, and even on a holiday, probably within about 10 minutes, I'd see a doctor. It cost me a few dollars. I'd be in and out with medication, and I'd be seeing a specialist the same day, and I'd be able to discuss problems, get scans that day. And with insurance, it's all covered. So that's one thing I really like about Vietnam is the easy access to healthcare, especially checkups, preventative type medicine things. I think it's very good at that. You know, you have an annual health check here as part of your job, and they pay for that. That'll do your sort of blood work, check over things like high cholesterol, diabetes, all the chest x-rays, stuff like that. So I think it's really good. There's no focus on preventative healthcare in the UK at all, in my opinion. They just wait until you're really, really sick, and then they'll treat you with drugs or whatever, but by then it's too late. And you know, there really needs to be more effort on preventative medicine, more effort on health checks, especially as you get over, you know, 60, 65. I think people should be brought in every 3-6 months, given a blood panel markup, given a health MOT if you like. You know, UK, they'll give you maybe 1 free flu vaccine a year to the over 60s, but you know, it's not good enough. These people have been paying taxes for 45, 50 years, some of them, and they should be getting more out of the system that they paid into all their lives. A little busier here, guys. This is Ton Duc Tang Street by the river, and there'll be a lot of people driving around. Tonight will be really busy. Families will be out on National Day celebrating liberation from the French in 1945. Although you can still see some French architecture around. There's a lot of French influence still in Vietnam. So reason number 3 I left the UK is the weather. So the weather in Vietnam is very predictable. It's hot and wet or hot and dry, and you know, I know it's going to rain in the afternoon, 3-4 p.m, but the morning's always going to be dry. It's always going to be nice, and that means I can plan my day easily, and I know when it's going to rain, when it's going to be too hot. In the UK, it's a nightmare. You just can't really predict the weather accurately. We have showers, drizzle, torrential downpours. It can rain for days sometimes. It's cold in the winter, it's wet, it's miserable. And it's just not that pleasant. I mean, I can remember one of my first jobs was with a laboratory in the UK many, many years ago. I'd have to wake up at like 5:45 a.m. I'd wake up, I'd draw my curtains, it's pitch black outside, it's raining, it's freezing cold. I didn't want to get up. I go to work, I was working in a laboratory inside a factory, and there's no windows. I finished at around 5:30 p.m. and it was pitch black. So I'd leave for work, it was dark. I get home from work, it was dark. That's depressing, it's not nice. Another reason why I left the UK is lifestyle balance. You know, so the work-life balance here can be really, really good for a foreigner especially. And you can work less hours and still, because of the lower cost of living, still live a reasonably nice lifestyle. And that's really important to me as I get older, that work-life balance. You don't want to burn yourself out, you don't want to stress yourself out. And yeah, I think it's important, and Vietnam enables you to have that. UK is kind of very much a work culture, and they, you know, people work till 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night often, and you know, before you know it, your life is over. You're 65, not over at 65, but I mean you're due to retire, but then you're a bit knackered then, your body's a bit knackered, your mind's not as sharp as it once was, and you know, you've worked all your life and you haven't been able to enjoy the fruits of your work during your lifetime. Another reason I left the UK is I really didn't like the kind of automated law enforcement, so things like, you know, speed cameras everywhere, police hiding with laser guns behind trees trying to catch you for speeding. If you park on the wrong side of the road for a few seconds, the camera's going to zap your number plate, send you a $100 fine in the post. Yeah, I'm all for, like, I like things to be a little bit orderly, but when it's automated like that and it's just used as a revenue generator for the government, I really hate it. And I can remember, I think it was my dad, he got like maybe driving 3 miles per hour over the speed limit, so doing like 33 in a 30, which is, it's nothing, you know. It really is nothing. And they send you on like a speed awareness course, which you have to pay for. So then you have to pay like $150 to go on a course where you sit there for days and they lecture you about the dangers of going 3 miles per hour over the speed limit. Well, again, to me, what a load of rubbish. The final reason why I left the UK, guys, is the kind of the media and the celebrity culture and the materialistic culture. I'm actually quite a minimalist, and I don't spend a lot of money on stuff. I don't need a lot of stuff. I don't want a lot of stuff. As long as I got my e-bike. But it's like kind of an Amazon type of culture, you know. People sit at home ordering on Amazon, like all day, every day. TV, Amazon. What can I order next? And it's like a constant flow of Amazon trucks in the neighborhood. And it's quite bizarre when I went home last time. I really noticed this, and it's kind of this kind of dopamine kick that people get from ordering online. And you know, fair play to Jeff Bezos. He's not one of the richest guys in the world for nothing, and he's really cracked that addictive buying impulse thing with Amazon. But it's just kind of weird, and people weren't exercising very much. They're stuck in the house buying shit on Amazon that they don't need or really want, and it's kind of weird. But the media influences, you know, you have these 24-hour rolling news channels, so it's like the same story. Like, it's almost like brainwashing. 1984, you get like the Big Brother news channels, they're like the same story over and over and over, like BBC News 24, Sky News 24, and especially elderly people, they haven't got much to do, they're sat at home watching these news channels, and it's all doom and gloom, you know, and it's really like quite depressing really, and I don't think it's good for mental health to sit there watching the news all day, every day. And I really noticed this in the UK, and the news tends to be quite negative as well. Of course, in Vietnam, it's the opposite. Media is state controlled, so you just tend to see more positive stories here. It's very filtered news, and that's a topic for another day, guys. But it is quite kind of nice seeing not being bombarded with negative news all the time, and not just having too much news thrown at you. I like that, you know. I just detach from it. But I got access to things like The Guardian, Telegraph. I can go and look at these online. If I want to feel depressed about the rest of the world, I'll go and do that. It's also this real kind of keeping up with the Joneses feel in the UK. So because there's like not really much to do, I suppose, because the weather's so shitty most of the time, that people they think, you know, what can I buy next? You know, he's got this car, I'm gonna get that car. They got that phone, I need to get that phone and get it for my kids as well. It's all a bit like superficial and artificial, and it's just not really something that I'm into. And I think there's a lot more to life than being like that, really. And yeah, you know, it's nice to be financially stable and to be able to buy stuff, but I don't really think that life is all about that. Life's all about riding your e-bike in crazy Vietnamese traffic on a national holiday. Alright folks, there we go. So some reasons why I left the UK. Please leave me your comments below. I'm sure a lot of you will disagree with me, and that's fine. I'd love to get your input. Give the video a thumbs up and a like. Plenty more stuff to come from me here in Vietnam, guys. Have a fantastic day, fantastic weekend. Catch you later.